My name is Alan Foster. I'm the CEO of LoreBooks, run by Lore Media. Also, I'm the CEO of Lore Media. Our product is LoreBooks.
Okay.
Terry, unfortunately, won't be here today because he is where I currently was, which was interviewing some unpaid interns that we're actually bringing on board. Vinay Saxaria is an MIT student who is currently our CTO. He's in machine learning. So, a little bit about the problem that we're solving. In the research that we've done over the past several years, they found that in regards to reading for pleasure, 90% of readers prefer physical books over ebooks. And this is because ebooks and physical books, print books, have different pros and cons. Print books are a lot better at immersion, allowing you to keep your focus as you read, but they're big, they're bulky, which is why people have hoped that everybody transitions over to ebooks, which are lightweight, obviously they're digital, but because they lack effective pagination, the segmenting of content, the result is that there's a lack of immersion, no personal connection, and no progression management that allows people to effectively retain the knowledge that they learn. The result is that people are aware of this problem. If you ask them what they prefer, they will say they prefer to read ebooks, or I'm sorry, print books, but they don't know why. What we want to do is create the hybrid of these two systems using new emerging virtual reality technology that offers the benefits of an ebook, which is the ability to search through the content as well as it being digital, as well as the immersive experience that you would expect from a print book. So what is LoreBooks? Quite simply, LoreBooks is using virtual reality technology to create something called a V-book. An e-book is a two-dimensional document, but a V-book is a three-dimensional document. It's the next form of media, basically. What we're doing is developing it using JavaScript, pure JavaScript, which means that it can function in any modern browser. Modern being past Windows XP, which unfortunately 15% of people still use Windows XP or before. So we're getting there. Compared to regular virtual reality, which is the full atmosphere or augmented reality, which only functions on 4% of modern computers compared to our 85. By the way, none of that 4% is Macs. There is not currently a Mac that exists that allows for virtual reality to function. Which, is that a Mac? No, if it was, I could show you that ours does function on most Macs. The benefit of it being pure JavaScript is that there are no downloads and no plugins. You just load the website and it works. How am I doing for time?
2 minutes.
Would you like to see?
Sure. Pitch is worth 1,000 words, so let's see.
So let's see if it'll bring it up. If it's using Internet Explorer before 12, that might be a problem. Oh, it's Chrome. We'll get this.
So this isn't 3D like Oculus, right? This is really just more like a pagination.
Like you don't need glasses or anything.
Correct. Now, eventually, you can use glasses, which is going to be very important. It's how we stay, how we're going to scale long term. And what you're actually looking at here is the old version. This is an actual 3D model that's being processed from the text you see below. So if I go and make an 80s reference, what is love, baby, don't hurt me? What it did was it processed this text into images, which are then rendered on the three-dimensional model as textures, with a repeating page turn to simulate it. But let me go in, because we have actually updated the model in the past 2 weeks. This is the old model. Thank you. I believe that's correct. This is the new editor, which is still in testing. What we did was, first of all, you can see it's much easier to edit the content, and this was based on direct user feedback. We've demonstrated that now this is an actual 3D book with some much needed upgrades. Unfortunately, this is supposed to be, there's still some bugs. This is supposed to be right there. We know it's wrong. We also have a few problems with the edges there. But otherwise, it's coming together quite nicely. So let's go back to the PowerPoint. Our budget, so far we've invested over $7,000. and we would like to request $5,000 out of the $7,500 to continue development. Thank you very much. Any questions?
User, I should raise my hand, I apologize. So what's been the user's feedback on this? Because I'm sitting here, I get it, and I'm just, from my personal, I'm trying to think, doing that on screen, is that, is that the key part of it, that make people want to adopt it?
One of people have been saying they absolutely love it. I've been sitting in the cafeteria and people have walked by and started freaking out about it. It's been a marvelous experience. I think and so we believe that we've identified our early adopters. One thing that I'd like to point out, let's go to the last one, which is these 10 websites, actually it's now 8 of them. I believe, yeah, the Archives and Creative Freedom dropped off. They just stopped responding. Everybody else is still active. Want to see their websites use this technology. What we plan on doing is, our business model is very similar to YouTube, where YouTube is a hosting platform that allows their technology to be distributed and embedded on other third-party websites. And that's what we want to do. They see a direct need, that this will fill that need for immersive content that their users want, and they've signed up to use it. These represent, let's see, I don't have it here, unfortunately, in the slide. They represent 50,000 active users, which, assuming a 2% subscription rate for our premium subscriptions, as well as ads, we're projecting approximately $325,000 in our first year. Now that doesn't include the fact, or I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, finish that.
The early adopters are the community role players, fan fiction writers, the really hardcore, passionate readers. That isn't mainstream. This is a disruptive technology. We're starting in an area that there isn't any competition, and eventually, our intention is to use this to publish fully copyrighted books, the Harry Potter series in V-book format, which is where the real money comes from. But first, we have to develop the technology.
So e-ink, which is the technology behind Kindle, I thought their play was, the reason you don't read on an iPad is because of eye fatigue. And it's the lighting, and that's why it's like Etch-a-Sketch, right? And that's why Kindles are more popular. And not, and people like the handling of a book. Did that come up in your research?
It is one problem that we're experiencing. Eye fatigue is one, but also pagination is the other problem. So right now we're solving the content management, and that's one thing that virtual reality is actually looking at solving right now, and that is a hardware problem. Right now we're solving the software side of it.
And with the virtual reality, are you making like one of my son's issue he's having in school, because they're making him read on the computer, and I actually had to request a book for him, is the graphics, right? He retains more with pictures on the page, and seeing that. So with the virtual reality, is that what you're addressing, is also the graphics, not just the page and the text? I think that's very important.
We have two paths that we're looking at right now, and we haven't decided which one is better. One is virtual reality, which includes creating interactive content, creating the full virtual atmosphere. So basically you get to watch your book as it's narrated to you, is something we also plan to add. The other option is augmented reality, in which the books that you saw is just the book that, as you have your headset, it can be projected on the table in front of you. So right now we're focusing on, we're leaning towards the augmented reality.
So, just for a moment, if you want to talk about this afterwards, I owned and sold a company that digitized like Oxford University Press's library, the World Bank's library, Columbia University Press's library. So we used to build tools like this, and we built a prototype similar to this for R.R. Donnelly probably about 10 years ago, and the page swiping thing was not enjoyed by the users.
Oh, really?
Yes, and so we ended up digitizing it, and the whole focus ended up being searchability, right? But the reason why the focus was searchability was because people wanted to make relationships. So if your son was reading something, you would say, I read something about a wagon earlier, boom, and there's another story about a wagon. there's a great opportunity now for someone like you with the virtual reality to add an experience, because it's going to be played where people are swiping books. No one seems to enjoy that. But if all of a sudden they could have a universe of images, or I could say, I want to pick what this character looks like and share it, just like on an Xbox, there would be a very large opportunity for something like that. And folks are exploring that now, and it's not out there.
Mhm. One of the problems that we're actually solving is the difficulty in creating virtual reality experiences. It takes hundreds of hours to make something and then minutes to consume. We're turning that on its head, where it only takes a few minutes to generate a V-book, and then it's hours that people spend reading those. And obviously they still have to write them, so it turns out being a little bit more equal. But the goal is to remove those barriers to produce virtual reality technology and basically drive the virtual reality market, where finally there's enough content to justify spending $600 on a headset.
I'm a little bit confused of what you actually have. Are you a platform, a reader, a conversion tool, an editor? I'm sorry, I just don't seem to get exactly what you're providing.
Mm-hmm. And I understand. What we are creating is a platform very similar to Wattpad. Wattpad is a writing website where people come to share short stories that they write and read them, basically. They have 40 million unique monthly visitors, and last year they raised $47 million in venture capital, well, 2 years ago now. But they aren't developing their technology. They're focusing on marketing their platform, but not on the actual user experience. So our goal is to borrow some of their users, hopefully license the technology to them if they're willing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Alan, great job.
Thank you.
Thanks.